When people watch The Hate U Give, what do you want them to walk away with? Because I know everyone has a slightly different feeling.
Well, I mean, white people crying actually was the goal. It was the goal.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. We deserve this. Now, I know many of you will say, well, we don't deserve any of the crap that we're given today. We're completely innocent. No, we deserve this one because men were nice and we were inclusive. And when I say that, I know that's an actual really bad buzzword right now, but it was women wanted to play, I don't know, Magic the Gathering, and women wanted to play video games, and women wanted to play Warhammer 40K, and women wanted to get into Dungeons and Dragons. And we as men, we said, wow, we like women, and there's no women in our hobbies. Sure, come on in and be a part of our hobbies. Or in some cases, like with golf courses and men's gyms and cigar lounges and other things like that, women filed lawsuits to get in. And all of a sudden, they're in our spaces. And what happens when we let them in our spaces? We lose our spaces. And that is why I say we deserve this. Because we started listening to the crazy people. Now, I'm old enough to remember, and I don't remember this firsthand, but I am old enough to remember that it was still kind of a conversational topic about black and white men and women dating and kissing and having romance on the television. Archie Bunker was still very popular back then, and of course he was used as a bad role model for everybody, but people found humor in it. And while I don't remember like Star Wars at 8 p.m. or wherever it was on TV, I do remember the reruns of it, and I used to watch them all the time. And there was one where Captain Kirk kissed Lieutenant Uhura, white man kissing a black woman, and it was the first interracial romance kiss on television, and it was kind of a big deal. But then it was done and over with, and they just moved on. And over time, by doing this inch by inch by inch, people became accustomed to interracial romances and seeing couples like that on television until at the point it was no big deal. But now they're trying to not only push their weird outlooks on life, and when I say they, I mean the woke left. Not only are they trying to push their weird views on things, but they're trying to do it very quickly and ham-fisted and actually with a sledgehammer, which is kind of how it's going. And so when I say we deserve all of this, it's because our kindness of men letting women into these spaces, listening to them, slowly giving them places of power, and then marketing and directing and CEO positions and executive positions. Eventually, they took everything over and they kicked all the awful, evil, straight white men out of the space. So the Acolyte, which is Disney's newest Star Wars series, they say the showrunner concurs it's the gayest Star Wars and that R2-D2 is a lesbian. Now, I don't know about you, but a just what? just what? None of this makes sense anymore. And they don't want it to make sense anymore. They don't care if you enjoy the product. They don't care if you even watch it. It's to send a message. And that message is, we're now in control. We're going to take something that you loved, that you're passionate about. We're not going to know anything about it. And we're just going to write up our own stories and make up things. And if it has nothing to do with the Star Wars you love, oh well, you awful straight men that enjoy this, because we're going to take it away from you. And that right there is where the joy and the excitement comes from. It's not that they have the Star Wars universe. It's not that they have Warhammer 40K. It's not that they have Dungeons and Dragons. It's not that they have video games. It's not that they're included in any of those things. It's that now they can take control of them and make things that you hate and laugh about it because it tells and it lets the whole world know they now have the power. And if you really want to know what this is about, that's what it's about, is saying to you, I took something you loved and I destroyed it. And I can destroy it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Except there is something we can do about it, but I'll talk more about that in a moment. So, Heels versus Babyface, which is a YouTuber that I watch here on YouTube or over on YouTube, he just simply says pathetic. And this is from The Wrap. We're happy to report that the Acolyte is arguably the gayest Star Wars yet. Happy Pride Month. Now, I don't know about you. I don't really care to have, if you go back and look at the original ones, you had a very brief kiss and slight romance between the scoundrel and the princess, right? Between Han Solo and Princess Leia. And you had an incestual kiss between the two of them as well with Luke. And outside of that, that's in the first, at least the first trilogy, that's all you had. The second one, well, that's kind of a love story that tells you how Darth Vader got. But that wasn't the main story. That's the side story. See, in this one, it's like, hey, we're going to tell you all about how two twins can be born of two women and no men were involved, and how awful men are, and none of it makes sense.
I want to ask you both, because this is, I would say, arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable margin. And are you excited about that? Are you
Not the
bracing
gayest
yourself?
Star Wars. Not the.
It's pretty gay, let's be honest. Leslie, how do you feel?
Am I gay? Yes.
Well, no, I know
Yeah.
you are gay, but I'm asking, are you excited about
Spoiler alert, everybody in this room is gay, if you can't tell.
putting this, this is going to be a talking point?
Is it going to be a talking point?
I'm sure some.
Because nerds are gay.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by.
See, the fact that this is a conversation about anything related to a TV show, or the fact that this is just a conversation now about a movie, and that the characters are this, and I'm this, and all the things are all that, we don't care. It's so ham-fisted. It punches you in the face with everything, that even if everybody in the world, which nobody is going to, but even if everybody in the world came out and said, this is amazing Star Wars, I'd say, okay, does it have the, I don't know, whatever in it? And they say, yes, very much so. I don't care. I'm out. I'm tired of it. We're all tired of it. There's nothing left to these franchises. And we earned it by being nice enough to let them in the first place.
Gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But
Yeah.
in my world, nerds are gay.
Okay. Was this the fun element of?
No, I don't think so. And yet people have told me that it's the gayest Star Wars, and I'm frankly
You're offended?
into it. No.
Just the stupidity of all of this. The stupidity of all of this. Joel Berry here on Twitter, he's got about 85,000. He's the managing editor of the Babylon Bee, the humor site. He says the Acolyte is a queer Marxist vandalization of the myth of Star Wars. In the Acolyte, the Force is a metaphor for cultural hegemonic power. The Jedi are a metaphor for cisgender white oppressors who hoard the power for themselves. Yes, it really is that obnoxious and stupid. He's got about 10,000 likes on this. And it's less about Disney and Hollywood ruining this stuff. I loved Star Wars as a kid. I took an old mop handle. I think it was a mop handle. I'm pretty sure it was a mop handle that had broken, and I cut it off, and I made my own handle, and I spray painted it electric blue. And my father helped me with that. I remember that. And I ran around the yard whacking at bushes and pretending to use my Force powers. And I liked Star Wars as a kid. I really did. I could care less. Like, it is completely, like, it just doesn't, it's not even on my radar. And it's because of these things. It's because of where they've taken everything. And they're doing the same thing. From Screen Geek, the Acolyte showrunner concurs. Like, who cares about this? And they're just throwing in R2-D2 as a lesbo because it's funny. It's taking something away from you that you like, and it's destroying it. And they're not even having fun with it. Like, they're laughing, but they're laughing at what they're taking away from you. And the same thing happened to Dungeons and Dragons. You know, I as a kid played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. When I was in high school, we'd jump in my car. We'd go over, a couple of my friends that live close to me would jump in my car. We'd go to my friend Jay's house. We had a table set up, and we would play Dungeons and Dragons usually Friday and sometimes Saturday night all the way through the night, going to bed at 4, 5, 6 a.m., sleeping until noon, going out, grabbing a couple more sodas, maybe some smokes, because I smoked back then. And then we go back and play more. And we did this every weekend for like my junior and senior year in high school. I haven't played since then just because no one is really around, and I haven't played it since probably 3rd edition. But now, what do we have from Dungeons and Dragons? They teach us that diversity is our strength. For only a diverse group of adventure can overcome the many challenges, blah, 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 blah. And what they're doing is they're changing the rules. They're getting rid of halflings, like half elf, half orc, half this, half that. They're changing classes. They're going to present orcs and drow in a new light. Because somehow some people that are ironically the racist ones were saying that orcs were somehow being a representative of black people. And now, so this has been ruined. And then they come sniffing around for Warhammer 40K. And now that because they've got to get women in there, now women need to be part of, and all the things. And it's gotten so bad that now even in video games, they have somebody made this listing of Sweet Baby Inc. detected, which is Sweet Baby Inc., if you don't know, is one of those diversity cult-like companies that are born of a bunch of women and not straight people for sure. And they go through and they talk to video game companies saying, let us proofread your content and your material to make sure that it doesn't run into any problematic things for people of this and that and the other thing. And they've ruined many a good game. As a matter of fact, if you look at most of the AAA games that are coming out now, so many of them have problems now because companies like this come in and they make sure that there's X amount of this and not amount of that, and the only white people that can be in there are the evil ones and all the things, where women are brave and strong, and so now we've got to even look out for them in our video game creation. And he goes through, or they go through, and you can see all these not recommended games. They go through and mark up what has Sweet Baby Inc. detected on there. And now it's a culture war. It's if you hire these people that hate men and hate everything that we enjoy, if you hire them, we're not going to give you any money. This is the culture war that's been going on. I see all this stuff, and like right now there's everybody's, especially the TV movie, TV/movie entertainment channels that I follow and I watch, they're all going ballistic over the Acolyte and the Disney stuff. Why? I guess maybe because it's good content and they get a lot of views on their content. So I guess I understand why they're roasting it. But if we're to be honest, these old intellectual properties nobody cares about them anymore. And we keep saying to ourselves, why do they keep making why do they keep making this content that no one's buying? that no one's paying attention to? It's because it's not about making money. It's not even about sending the message. It's not even about that. It's about letting you know that they are now in charge of something you used to enjoy, and they're now in control of it, and they're going to destroy it for you. Now, they're going to love it. It's going to be exactly what they want, but they're going to destroy it for you. And it may lose money, but they're not going to be held accountable for that. It may be hated. It may lose fans. It doesn't matter. It's about letting you know that there are new people that are in charge that hate you, that are going to do what they want, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's why I say we deserve all of this, because we let the crazy people and these women and these wokeoids into the intellectual properties and the video games and the movies and the clubs and the cigar lounges and everything else that we've enjoyed. And it's only ever a one-way street, because if you ask yourself, how many things are men stepping into that women already control? How many clubs that women have that are exclusively women can men go into? 0. Because women say, oh, we're afraid. We need a place to protect ourselves. And so men make no headway on that, while women come into all of our spaces. Ironically, men are now, in some cases, taking over those women's spaces by simply saying that they're women. And these women, ironically, don't have the answer because they're woke and left. They don't have the right answer. And so now they must accept that their safe spaces, so to speak, are being taken over by men simply because these men say that they're women now. And in many cases, they're out-womening women in their own sports and things. Guard what you love, your intellectual property, your IPs, because what is going to happen now is we're going to have to make it all anew. We're going to need a new Hollywood. Now, maybe that's movies from Japan. Maybe that's movies from South Korea. Maybe that's movies coming out of Nashville, Tennessee, instead of Hollywood. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with video games, because the AAA games, they're going to be in a struggle. So now we need to look for independent creators. We need to look for indie games. We're going to need to do the same thing when it comes to video game or board games, tabletop. Dungeons and Dragons will probably fold. Wizards of the Coast will probably fold because of what they're doing, and they're losing so many people. But the idea of gaming, tabletop gaming with dice, you can't patent that. So somebody's going to take it over and create something new. In many ways, we're watching almost like a revision or a restarting of many of the things that we've come to love over the previous 100 years. Hollywood is over with. Video games that have been around since, the 80s, that last, 50 years, that's getting a refresh. That's going to restart. Everything's going to become new again. But it's an important lesson that if you don't guard what you love and you don't pay attention, those people that hate you are going to take it over and destroy it and laugh in your face, even if they had maybe the opportunity to make money or to do something good with it. It's never about that. It's simply destroying something you love and showing you that they have the power. And I wanted to complain about that today because I see it happening, and it's been happening. And we need to stop letting it happen. We need to gatekeep. We need to gatekeep the things that we love, because otherwise it's going to get taken away. Guys, I don't know. I'll come out with another video for you here shortly. I haven't had much. I haven't had much to discuss, but I'll find something to talk about. It's been very slow news. It's all politics and stupidity. Maybe we're getting what we deserve. I don't know. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.